Panthers are currently putting on. I'm here. We don't usually do a Sunday start sit stream. Oh my goodness, I had the wrong microphone on. That would be an issue. So if you guys are hearing me coming through, it would be because my mic is not connected. Let me just make sure I can get this situated so you guys can hear me. If that helps. There we go. There we go. I was about to say it was coming through my camera mic, so apologies on that, everyone. But like I said, guys, we are answering all start sit questions here today. Good to see all you guys. Good to see everyone. Patrick says, "Yo, Caleb, what up? What up, Patrick? You said I'm hurting right now, bro. I started Neighbors, Tracy, and Giants defense, 12.2 points combined. I can pray for a big second half." Yeah, I started Tracy in a lot of spots. We got Neighbors starting in a bunch of spots. I didn't start the Giants defense anywhere. I honestly thought it was going to be an okay matchup for the Giants defense there, Patrick. But yeah, no, for real. That's a real one. So I'm praying for a big second half too. I got Chuba Hubbard in a few spots too, which honestly, that Miles Sanders injury, almost a lot of people were asking questions like, hey, what should I do with Jonathan Brooks? Jonathan Brooks is out. This might open the door for Jonathan Brooks here over the next few weeks as well. So Patrick, I'm praying for you as well, my bro. Jacob, good to see you. You said start sit Waddle or Dunze for my wide receiver 3 spot this week. Jacob, I know there's another question. I was looking through the questions a little bit as the stream countdown was happening, but the main thing is Tyreek Hill going to play or not? I still think you got to go with Waddle over Romo Dunze. Now I have Waddle 5 spots ahead. So I understand it's a little bit of a risk, especially with us not seeing anything elite from Jalen Waddle here over the last 2 weeks. So I'm personally going with Waddle over Odunze, but I understand Jacob, that this is a risky one, and starting Tyreek Hill is a risky one. So hopefully we start to get some answers here over the next hour, at least on Tyreek Hill. Hopefully. Theo, good to see you. You said, "What's up, Kale? Let's win some games." Hey, let's go out and put up some dubs. Like that's what we're trying to do here, Theo. And appreciate you, dude. Theo, I always see you in the comments of other videos, bro. So always appreciate seeing you. Tricks said, "Okay, what should I do with Tyreek? Take the risk and leave him in the lineup, or play someone like Jamon Jennings?" Tricks, this is where I just lean on playing Tyreek. Hopefully we get some type of information before the 1 o'clock games on where he's leaning. I mean, based on his Snapchat story yesterday, based on the way that a lot of people are feeling that he's going to play. Now, is he one hit away from potentially exiting the game early? Potentially. But for you and for me, I'm playing Tyreek Hill over Jamon Jennings. I think there's a lot more upside there. But honestly, at this point of the season, we could look at Tyreek Hill and CMC as being maybe 2 of the biggest busts of that first round in the fantasy football drafts. So I am a little bit worried as well, Tricks. But personally for me, I would go with, I'd lean and play some Tyreek Hill. And that's what you said. Cool. I love it. Theo said, "I panicked, sold on Tyreek yesterday, sold him for Terry and Deontay." No. Listen, Theo, I think at this point, you got 2 great values. I think Deontay Johnson right now, his overall dynasty value should have gone up with him joining the Baltimore Ravens, but it went down based on the overall volume. He still got the contract. Still, him and Terry still, they're in the prime of their career, Theo. So I think you did a really good job getting out on Tyreek for that. Of course, like if Tyreek Hill really starts to turn around here over the next few days, next few weeks, we're probably maybe going to regret it a little bit. But Tyreek Hill also, let's not forget, is getting up there in age as well, Theo. So I like that deal a ton for you. Soul said CMC approx to get 20 touches. Well, if he gets 20 touches, that's going to be absolutely the best thing for my CMC shares. You've waited, and I think this is the thing. Like, yes, are we worried that maybe Jordan Mason's going to be the starter? Well, we don't know how much snap share CMC is going to get. Sure. But if I have CMC, I'm rolling him out there easily. I'm easily rolling out CMC this week. Yeah, thanks, Tricks. Yeah, glad we got that adjusted there. Patrick said, "Start Pitts or Jonnu Smith." Listen, Jonnu Smith's been a sleeper tight end for me this week, but I will be starting Kyle Pitts over Jonnu Smith. I have Jonnu Smith sliding in as my tight end 14, Kyle Pitts as my tight end 10. There, Patrick. Dylan said, "Full PPR, different leagues, start sit. 1 running back, Ugly, Akers, Rodriguez." I'll be starting Akers there, Dylan. And then you said, but did we get, I guess Brian Robinson might be injured, so both of them are RB2s. I lean Akers. I lean Akers there still because I think Austin Eckler is going to get most of the work. And we got 1 quarterback. We got Baker versus Kyler this week. I'll be going with Baker over Kyler. I think I've been a huge, I love Kyler Murray. I really do. But this week versus the Jets defense, I don't want a piece of that. And then I feel like Baker versus San Francisco. It's also a bad matchup, but I prefer that passing against the 49ers cornerbacks than I do the Jets. And then one flex, one tight end, Pearsall versus Odunze. I'll go with Odunze. And then Fergie versus Hunter Henry. I will be going with Fergie because I think Cooper Rush, the best friend of a backup quarterback, is always the tight end. And so I'm a little bit worried about CeeDee Lamb today as well, Dylan, but I would go with Fergie. So Fergie, Odunze, Baker, Akers. That's who I go with, Dylan. Thanks so much for tuning in. Jeff, good to see it. You say BTJ or Calvin Ridley today. Listen, Calvin Ridley's, I bumped him up 2 spots last night when I adjusted my rankings, Jeff, but I still have Brian Thomas 3 spots ahead. So it's a little bit of, yes, am I worried about Mac Jones? Do we still have to deal with Brian Thomas dealing with a little bit with that chest injury? Yes. So it does feel risky, but we also have, both of them have backup quarterbacks throwing on the ball. I understand Calvin Ridley last week wasn't the best. Against Detroit, he had a good game in week 8, but I still lean Brian Thomas Jr. here for the Jaguars. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a ton in the second half, which is only going to benefit Brian Thomas Jr. in this offense. So, appreciate you, Jeff. Soul says Ingram or Pollard. I will be going with Pollard. He will be getting the volume of touches there. Ernie, good to see you. You said Nico Dobbins, Hunt, or D-Hop at PPR flex. Goodness, you got some good options, man. Some of these aren't your starters. That's crazy. I don't know what your team looks like, Ernie, but I think you got to shoot with the upside. If Nico's playing, you got to play Nico. And if it's not going to be Nico, then I would go with Hunt. But it's hard to bench Hunt after all that volume that he's been getting, Ernie. But I personally do have Nico highest rated in my wide receiver rankings this week. L. Smith, appreciate you. You said, yo, I'm being offered Breece Hall for Kupp and James Conner. Full PPR, do I take it? No, hold Kupp and James Conner there. James Conner right now is my running back 12 rest of the season. Cooper Kupp's like my wide receiver 11, and Breece Hall is my wide RB6. And that's even just based on a lot more projection than it is actually what we've seen from Breece Hall. So L, I honestly prefer Kupp and James Conner there. Jeff said Steelers D or Chiefs D this week. Here we go. Here we go, Jeff. The question everyone wants. Which defense should I be playing? So we got Steelers versus Washington. Jaden Daniels. Or we got the Chiefs versus Denver. Bo Nix. I lean the Chiefs versus Denver. Like I said, I feel like I haven't been the best with my defensive rankings this season. Just because there's been so many, I feel like, unexpected injuries, big plays. Bo Nix, I mean, the Konami code, you're worried about that legs, but I don't want to be playing. I know the Steelers D has been amazing, but they're going up against one of the top tier offenses in the NFL. So I think it'll be a lower scoring game for the Washington Commanders as a whole, but I prefer to go with the Chiefs defense there. Moses, appreciate you. You said, what's up, good, Kayla? Hey, man, it's good. Hanging out with all y'all. The second half just started to the overseas game. Is it Berlin or London? I'm forgetting. I tuned in right afterwards. Where's it at? Where are we? But I'm watching on my phone here. So, how do you feel about Alec Pierce over Travis Etienne in my flex and full PPR? Thanks, bro. Yeah, I think I'm still gonna tell you to go with Travis Etienne, even though I understand it's not looking great. I have Travis Etienne, just so we're aware, Moses. I have him 9 spots higher than Alec Pierce in my flex rankings. So it is close enough that I think you could argue the fact that maybe you should go with Alec Pierce. He's one big play away. Travis Etienne, he's been injured the last few weeks. And then he was injured in I guess he wasn't injured in week 9. He just straight up only had 31% snap share. So I don't feel confident in either, Moses. I'm just going to be honest. I don't feel confident in either. If I had to go one, like I said, Travis Etienne, maybe hope that he's more healthy and he can get some dump offs from Mac Jones and that benefits him more than Tank Bigsby. And that they're going to have to run the ball just to get any sort of offense there, Moses. But like I said, I'm not feeling confident in either of these decisions, but I would lean Travis Etienne there. Theo said, okay, I bet thanks. Hello, a lot better now. Let's go, Theo. Yeah, you're doing good, bro. You know what you're doing here in the fantasy football seats. PV&J, bro. I haven't seen you in a minute. Good luck today. Good luck today in our league. Amster said, Vikings or Chargers defense? I had Chargers, but Jags lost T-Law now. Yeah, so I'm actually rolling out the Chargers in a lot of my leagues today. I think the Chargers are the best defense versus the Tennessee Titans. I do have the Minnesota. I have them as a top 5, so I have both, but I still go with the Chargers defense here. Armstrong 23. Chris said, boys, I'm cooked if Nico doesn't play tonight. Chris, I'm cooked too. I got a few leagues where with the buys, with the injuries, man, if he doesn't play, we're not feeling great about it. So I'm right there with you, Chris. Right there with you. PPJ said, going with Terry or Dell this week. I might have to go with the upside against Detroit tonight. Looks like Tracy's gonna kind of give me a dud so far. I still have Terry over Dell this week. I have Terry. I know I have him lower. He's going up against Pittsburgh, but I have him as my wide receiver 17. I have Tank Dell as my wide receiver 22 there, PB&J. So it's close enough, but I personally want to go with Scary Terry, even if he is going up against the Tennessee Titans. Very strong defense. L. Smith said, full PPR, start 1 and 1 flex. Cup, Tyreek, CMC, James Conner, Nico Collins. Man, I only get 1 and 1. I think this is one of the rosters where I go with Cup and Nico Collins. L. Smith, I would love to tell you to start Tyreek and CMC. Like I said, we don't know the volume of CMC, so I do prefer Nico Collins and that upside over CMC today. This might be a terrible decision to tell you. You've been waiting on starting CMC your whole time, but the fact that we got like 5 studs here, then I only get to pick 2. I lean Cup and I lean Nico Collins. There, L. Smith. Reith, good morning. You said, should I start Cade Otton or Dalton Kincaid? Reith, go with Cade Otton this week. I have Cade Otton as a top 4 tight end. Dalton Kincaid's been absolute booty for us, so go with some Cade Otton there. L. Smith said, should I get Breece Hall straight up for Cup? Yeah, it depends on what you need, L. Smith. If you have, yeah. Like, I'm not doing the 2-for deal that we just talked. Yeah. If you could do it straight up for Cup, I would take Breece Hall there and the upside at the running back position. But if you have to, like we said, include James Conner, then I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it at all. PB&J said it's Germany. They're at Panthers County. Just say, oh my goodness, look at PB&J. This is PB&J's team, and honestly, Chuba Hubbard's been looking pretty good. All you needed to do was bring in all the rookies, all the bench pieces for Bryce Young to actually start looking like a competent quarterback there, PB&J. He said, PB&J said, work's been trying to kill me. Haven't been able to get to the lives on time. Good luck this week, bro. Hey, appreciate you, PB&J. Thanks for dropping in. MH said, full PPR, Mooney or Connor. I will go with Connor this week here, MH, but Mooney is also going up my rankings each and every week. I mean, dude's absolutely been balling. And then you said, Tyreek's questionable. I have Waddle. Should I just play Connor over Tyreek? Yeah, MH. I think even if Tyreek has a great game, like, we haven't seen a great game from Tyreek in, what are we saying, like 7 weeks? So personally for me, I would go with Connor over Tyreek. I understand maybe some of the question marks of if Tyreek plays, the upside. Tyreek could absolutely win you your week. But I think this week is one where he could also lose you your week. So I kind of lean the Connor upside. I think it's very similar, maybe a little bit less, but the floor is way higher there, MH, for you this week. So I lean the James Conner side for sure. Like I said, guys, you guys are firing off away. I know I didn't schedule this. I didn't tell anybody we were doing a Sunday stream, so I just popped up in here. We're answering questions. So like I said, guys, if you have any more start sit questions, please let me know in the left box. Also, someone just subscribe, so it makes you wait a minute before letting you put in a start sit question. So appreciate each and every one of you. We are currently almost 56 subscribers away from hitting 4,000 subscribers. So I just need to thank each and every one of you for always supporting the channel, for asking all the questions, hitting the like button. Honestly, best way to support me right now, which is awesome. I absolutely love doing this with all y'all. So let me know what other start sit questions are happening. We're watching some good off. Can we get Malik Neighbors the ball? Can someone PB, I need you to fly and go tell him to throw the ball to Malik Neighbors. Right now with only 2 fantasy points in full PPR, not ideal at all, but yeah, not ideal at all. PB just said, of course I'm playing against Chuba in the league. I'm playing Tracy. Yeah, well, honestly, that contract that he got, PB&J, was crazy. I honestly was not expecting your Panthers to go dish out a 3-year, and I understand there's outs like around year 2, but I couldn't believe that they gave that much money to Chuba Hubbard. I was not prepared. Chris, appreciate you tuning in, man. I think this might be your first time on the channel. So Chris, appreciate you so much for finding us. Once you're here in the community, I answer all start sit questions all season long, bro. So once you're here, so I can help any way I can get you to the chip. But we're going with Najee Harris versus good old Rico Dowdle. So Najee Harris versus Washington. we're looking at what Pittsburgh's defense, super elite. Commanders, we're not going to have. It's looking like their new trade for Marshawn Lattimore. Lattimore's not going to play, which that's not necessarily going to affect Najee Harris, but the front seven is very good. We also got Rico Dowdle versus the Philadelphia Eagles. What is that passing attack going to look like? Are they going to just storm the box with all their elite level Carter, defensive ends, defensive tackles, Nolan Smith? So personally for me there, Chris, I lean the Najee Harris over Rico Dowdle. I have Najee Harris about 4 spots higher going up against Washington. Have him projected right now in full PPR somewhere around like 12.9 fantasy points there, Chris. So I will personally be going with Najee over Rico Dowdle, bro. But yeah, hope that helps you, and hope you can go out and get a dub today, for sure. PB and J say, but I'll take the fantasy L for our Panthers. PB, you're funny, bro. You're funny. Hey, I keep saying that about my Bengals, and I feel like we just keep giving it up. We just keep giving it up. It's been absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. PB said, yeah, I was surprised at the contract too. Maybe they'll be getting the next William Stewart duo lined up. Hopefully. I honestly think Jonathan Brooks is better, like as a prospect, as somebody that, I mean, I make a ton of dynasty content in the offseason, and I think Jonathan Brooks getting that round 2 capital, even coming off an ACL, tells you all you needed to know about how the NFL views him. And so I think really for the Panthers, I did think it was a weird choice, but I thought maybe Dave Canales was trying to go out and get his Rashad White. But then Chuba Hubbard, like we said, has looked super, super good. Who just scored? Oh, is that Tyrone Tracy? Let's go. Oh yeah. Is that Tracy? Yeah, let's go, PV. Let's go. PB, we got a tutty on the board there. Boom, 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 bro. Okay, we back. Tyrone Tracy, we back. Okay, PB, now you can relax a little bit. Chris said, I think Jonathan Brooks is going to be a dog. Yeah, I agree. Jonathan Brooks is the type of guy that, like you said, round 2 draft capital. So round 2 draft capital, as much as like people, we're starting to see like Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, probably Ashton Genty next year, like get round 1 draft capital as a running back. Like there's going to be more. I still say like round 2 is the round 1 for running back. So as long as you get drafted round 2, you're going to have a shot being the starter. And I think it was a little bit bizarre that they put the draft capital into Jonathan Brooks, and without even seeing him, then they gave the contract to Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard's look good. I get it. But I guess maybe they're projecting that running back salaries are going to go up here over the next few years, especially after what we just saw from CMC and Saquon getting big contracts, going to big teams, and then absolutely helping push those teams over the hump. So I think Jonathan Brooks could be a dog. I really like him. I'm on a lot of my fantasy rosters. I'm still stashing him because I think if he comes back, depending on how healthy he is, he could be potentially like a high-end RB2 for us rest of the season if things go his way. PBJ say it was. Now I need to get a touchdown for my biggest payout victim card. Hey, that's what we love to see. And Chris, I just got to say, bro, you come in here, you ask a question, and then you start interacting in the chat, bro. I appreciate that. I appreciate you so much for tuning in. Like we said, honestly, today was one where I did not schedule the stream out ahead of time. We stream, just so you know, Chris. We post videos like 5 to 6 days a week. We stream on Wednesdays, typically Fridays, as long as I don't have anything going on. And then honestly, I think I've streamed like 3 Sundays this year. And so today was one where I was like, hey, I'm home. Some of y'all got some questions that I could potentially help with heading into the week. But like we said, I know we're Jay chilling. A lot of people were jumped in quick, got their question answered, and now are back to watching the game. So like I said, guys, we'll probably keep this pretty short and sweet here today, maybe like a quick little 30-minute stream. So if you guys have any more start-sit questions, feel free to fire those away. And if not, we can go back to watching the game. Like I said, me and PB and J are over here. I'll cheer for the Panthers for you, PB and J. But can we get like another Tyrone Tracy touchdown? Maybe another Chuba Hubbard touchdown. Like those 2 things would be ideal. Maybe a Malik Neighbors like 70-yarder. Maybe we could just get like they just turn up the heat and they really start scoring all over the place. That's kind of what I'm hoping for in this good old Berlin game, which I have not been a fan. I don't know if you guys are a fan. I think the international games, I understand why they're trying to pull in the international audience, but I don't think an international team will ever work overseas with like the current NFL schedule. So I'm personally, these games where they start at 9:30, like what a mess. Eastern Standard Time. It feels like, and they're sending like the worst teams over there possible. I know we had like the Chiefs over there at one point, the Jets, but it's been brutal. Honestly, brutal games to watch. Has been brutal games to watch. So, but we got PB&J said it was. Now I need, yeah. Hopefully, like we said, hopefully you are able to get it. But like I said, guys, chat's pretty slow. So I will say this: I'm probably gonna dip out of here. If you guys do have start sit questions, throw those on a video. Chris, if you haven't tuned into my stash video, I put one out yesterday. Pretty good video. If you need some more insights there. But like I said, I answer all my comments. So if you guys have a question or something comes up here over the next hour, as we're kind of waiting for news on Tyreek Hill and Nico Collins, we got 2 questions coming in here. Just saying, but I'm glad you had Brown instead of Jamar for a Chase this week. Yeah, no kidding. Are we playing each other, PB? Wait a second. Am I playing you? Oh, we are playing each other. PB, I didn't realize we were playing each other. Yeah, we're projected, and you were asking me a start seat question. Yeah, well, yeah, Brian Thomas for you. That's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting for sure. And of course, I have Josh Jacobs on bye, and I got CMC in there, so we'll have to see if CMC can even do anything. But yeah, Chase Brown was pretty good, but Zay Flowers kind of let me down. Serge, so what, man? Do I start Ramondre Stevenson or Tank Dell in my flex? Full PPR. Stevenson seems like the safer play because I don't know how Nico will affect Dell's targets. Also, Dell dealing with that back at you. Yeah. Serge, I'm right there with you. I have Stevenson ahead in my flex rankings over Tank Dell. In the league that I was just talking about with PB&J that we're playing against each other, I do have both Ramondre and Tank Dell and CMC playing this week, so it's maybe the most glass lineup that I've ever put out there, Serge. So I'm with you. I'm a little bit worried about Tank Dell here today too. I think the volume that Ramondre should be enough to put him over Dell, in my personal opinion, even in full PPR. So I would be going with Ramondre Stevenson over Tank Dell. But it's good to see, hopefully, Nico coming back helps CJ Stroud, because I got CJ Stroud on a bunch of lineups, and he's been absolute cheeks. So hopefully that helps his overall fantasy football upside going forward as well. Reith said, I don't even wake up to see, Reith, that's the thing, man. Like, I feel like the NFL, and this is why, college, starts at noon Eastern Standard Time, because that's 9 o'clock Pacific, which is still super early if you want to watch wake up that early, but it's not crazy. But here, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, only East Coast people are watching the London Berlin games. PB&J said, yeah, this is our week. Start sit was for a day. Hey, you're allowed to ask if you have it for our league. I'll just tell you the wrong answer. Slike said, start Taysom, Pitts, or Ingram. Slike, ooh. A tight end question where we got a bunch of guys just all ranked together. I honestly have Evan Ingram as a top 5 play this week because backup quarterbacks always rely on their top tier tight end. So I would go with Evan Ingram. But I have Evan Ingram at 5. I have Kyle Pitts at 10. And then I have Taysom Hill at 11. So it's pretty back to back with this question. But I would lean the Ingram side for sure. And then we got Shreef. Like I said, guys, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in and asking your start sit questions here today. You said Waddle or Roman flex, 10-team, 1 flex PPR league. And Shreef, I will say this. Someone just asked this question earlier, and I'm not feeling confident in the answer because we've seen Ronald Odunze get absolutely targets everywhere. But he's competing with targets with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. So how is he going to keep getting these games? I don't know. But then we got Waddle, who is having Tua Tagovailoa back, which is good. Potentially no Tyreek Hill this week would potentially benefit Jalen Waddle getting more target share his way. Even if Tyreek Hill does play, I still lean Waddle. I have Waddle higher in my weekly rankings this week by about 4 spots. So it's still close enough, Shreith, but I personally lean Waddle over Rome Odunze there in the flex. PB&J said that's why this is my flex. It's like you said, really confused because of the Jags quarterback situation, Chris Olave in the Saints situation. Yeah, see, it's true. It's Taysom Hill's really the only weapon right now besides Alvin Kamara in this offense that they can kind of go to, because you have no Chris Olave, because of course we had trying to think of the guy, Lily number 22 for the Saints. Why am I blanking on his name? Rashid Shaheed who got hurt earlier this year. So really, it's like we said, it's Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara, Bud Means, and then we got Jacksonville rolling out Mac Jones, who we saw Mac Jones earlier not be able to, in his time with the Patriots, not be able to do anything for fantasy football. So then you're a little bit worried about Evan Ingram, a little bit worried about Brian Thomas Jr. I'm still playing Brian Thomas Jr. and Evan Ingram in a lot of my lineup spots just because I'm desperate. So I would lean with Evan Ingram today. I said, I hope Tyreek has a big game today. I hope so too. Well, he's playing tomorrow, right? He's playing tomorrow. So that's why a lot of people are having hard choices because he's listed as questionable. He's traveling with the team. It sounds like he's going to play, but then there's a lot of reports that are saying that it could be a game time decision. And so that's why we've had a lot of people debating, do I put in Juwan Jennings? Do I put in someone else over a guy over a Tyreek today? PB&J said, I'm going to be that guy with a kicker question. Rest of season, Boswell or Harrison butt kicker? I will be going with Boswell, PB&J, and I didn't even pull up my rankings. This is just purely gut. Boswell's been absolutely crushing it. And I just pulled up my rest of season rankings on the kickers, which I haven't really updated a ton here, PB&J, but I do have them 2 spots apart. I will say the thing with Boswell is I just feel like the Chiefs, they score more touchdowns. So they're always there, and he's getting a lot more extra points, whereas I feel like Boswell, they get stuck in the red zone a little bit more and gives Boswell a ton of more opportunities. Now, going forward, both of these guys, we have to consider that one's playing in Pittsburgh, one's playing in Kansas City. When they're playing outside in the cold and the wind, that does start to affect kickers, especially as we get towards playoff times. But I do lean Boswell over Harrison Butker for sure there, PB&J. And then Sweet said, thanks, man. Also, you see Chuba going crazy this game. He's going absolutely bonkers, man. I have him in, like I said, I have a league actually right now where I have Chuba Hubbard and I have Tyrone Tracy. Both, and like I said, this is a 0 RB build on a dynasty team. And both of these guys right now, 15 and 14 fantasy points in full PPR right now. Absolutely insane. So PB&J is watching the game, tuning into the stream. Yeah, we love seeing what Chuba's doing. Hopefully Tyrone Tracy can get maybe 15, 20 more yards, maybe another tutty. But we need to see Malik. I need to see Malik Neighbors start to get it going because, like we said, right now Malik Neighbors is at 2 fantasy points. Now everywhere I have Malik Neighbors, he's usually my wide receiver 2, which is good. But yeah, we need to see Malik Neighbors start to step it up here in this Berlin game. But like I said, guys, if you guys have any more start sit questions, fire those away. If not, guys, I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. We said we might do a quick little 30-minute, 40-minute stream. So any final start sit questions, throw those bad boys in. I'm probably after this gonna go watch some more of the game. And but of course I answer all my comments. So I want you guys to be well prepared for your week 10 matchup, which is crazy. We're already in week 10. A lot of people, I don't know if you guys are realizing this, a lot of people are starting to quit. So if you guys just continue to put through effort, even if your team's right there on the cups, there's a good chance we're going to make it to the playoffs. Ernie, appreciate you. Said, how do you feel about CD Lamb going forward? My wide receivers are him, Cup, Nico, D-Hop, and you have Evans coming back soon. PPR start, wide receiver 1 flex. My thinking is how he looks today with Rush. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm about to sneeze. Sorry, Ernie. Honestly, CD Lamb's one where I have him. Yeah, I pushed him down my rankings to wide receiver 7 rest of the season with no Dak. That is 100% hurting CD Lamb's overall value. I think CD Lamb kind of goes from a top 5 wide receiver to a back-end wide receiver 1 just because it's going to be a little bit more up and down. The great news with your team, Ernie, is you got Nico coming back, you got Cup, and then you got Evans coming back, but then we got D-Hop, who might become the second coming of Randy Moss with Patrick Mahomes, might be a Brady Moss connection from a few years ago. And so there's a chance that you don't really need CeeDee Lamb to continue going on and being elite. But if I'm you, today I'm not starting him. I would start Nico, Cup, and D-Hop, probably the way that I would lean, or I don't know what your variation is. But if you do want to start CeeDee Lamb this week, you can. Now, the thing that, Ernie, that you might be debating or talking about is hey, should I try to trade CeeDee Lamb? I just think right now trying to trade CeeDee Lamb, his value is so depleted that you're probably going to be in a better spot just to hold and see what he can do with Cooper Rush, because the elite ones, like we talk about, like the Justin Jefferson was last year balling with no Kirk Cousins. And so I think if CeeDee Lamb, this is going to be a big thing to see how he can play with not an elite level quarterback. But appreciate you, Ernie. Patrick said, start BTJ or Waddle. I will be starting BTJ over Waddle, Patrick. But I do have BTJ sliding in as my wide receiver 22 this week. So BTJ is a little bit lower than he has been the last few weeks, of course, with Mac Jones. But I do prefer BTJ over Waddle. And then Quincy said, start Debo or London PPR. You have Purdy and CMC starting, so not sure if I want to be 49er heavy. London looks good to go. And hip owners don't hinder receivers after time off. Yeah. So I, this week, have Drake London ahead of Debo. So I would go with Drake London, Quincy, but I do have Debo Samuel 2 spots behind Drake London. So, I mean, it's close. It's a toss-up. Like we said, once we kind of get to these nitpick rankings, like if you guys ever ask me questions and it's like a clear 5 spots apart, then that's where I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty clear start sit. This one's one where you could kind of lean each in any way that you would really want to go. But like I said, I would go with Drake London. So if you want to go with Drake London because you're already pretty heavy on that 49er stack, then I totally agree with it. PB&J said, now is the time to go get CD for flex value. Yeah, but I think it depends. Like if people are still expecting, like we said, like I have him as my wide receiver 7, wide receiver 8 rest of the season, like that is still going to be an expensive cost to acquire. And there's a chance that he doesn't even return on that level value with no Dak Prescott. So, because we saw what happened with Tyreek Hill when there was no Tua Tagovailoa. So, not to say that those two are in the same type tier wide receiver. I mean, CeeDee Lamb wins in different ways than Tyreek Hill does. But I guess you can get him super low. But yeah, I would take a look at there. If we're trying to buy on some Tyreek Hill, and maybe we should put this in our trade video next week, like what the fantasy football calculator trade database is kind of saying deals that are going down for CeeDee Lamb right now. Chandra, good to see you. You said, good morning, Caleb. Should I roll the dice on Nico? You have Dell just in case. Or should I put Downs in this morning? Also Tua or Stroud as my quarterback. Yeah, so I would say this, Chandra, if we have Nico Collins, I do have Josh Downs as a wide receiver 16 this week. So like Downs is a very good option, but I personally would go with Nico Collins here. Understanding you have Tank Dell to kind of roll to in case we get word that Nico Collins, maybe his snap share isn't going to be there, or I don't know. Like I would keep your eye on X and Twitter to see. And I would type in Nico Collins before the game just to kind of see what's being said about him. But I would 100% be playing Nico and roll the dice with him over Downs. But I do understand, and always playing someone coming off an injury risk, there's always a little bit of risk there. And then in regards to Tua or Stroud as your QB this week, we got Tua versus the Rams, and we got CJ Stroud versus Detroit. I lean with Tua versus the Rams. Now, like we said, this is a Monday night game. So the worry is I tell you to start Tua, and then we have no Tyreek Hill, and then CJ Stroud has Tank Dell and Nico Collins fully healthy, absolutely balls out. So, like I said, I have them 2 spots apart. I prefer Tua Tagovailoa at this moment, just banking on the fact that I think Tyreek Hill is going to play. But I can understand why you're kind of in a little bit of a predicament there, because both of them have been having their ups and their downs. So, Chandra, appreciate you. Dynasty 39, do I even risk playing Nico over Addison, even though he's questionable? Also, who should I drop for Nico, Pittman or Geno? I have Darnold and could probably pick up Yeah. Dynasty 39. So I'm playing Nico over Addison. You've waited all this time for him to come back. I understand that he's questionable. There's a little bit of worry, but I lean Nico Collins there. In regards to who you should drop when you pull him off of IR, I would drop him for Geno. I know you have Darnold. You got some good quarterbacks on the waiver wires, so there's no need to hold Geno. I understand Pittman's also been pretty bad, so there is the argument to be made that you probably should drop Pittman and hold on to Geno, but I think the quarterbacks, Geno, Nick, Stafford, Tua, they're all in the same tier for me. So drop Geno, put Nico into your starting lineup, and let's see how this week goes for you, Dynasty 39. Quincy said, oh, okay, even easier. It's a close call. Yeah, of course, Quincy. Dynasty 39 said Ferguson or Hogginson this week. I think we've got to lean the Fergie side. Main reason I'm leaning Fergie is I know the matchup's not great. I know there's a backup quarterback, but the backup quarterback's best friend is always the tight end. And so I have them super close, Dynasty 39, but I lean Fergie there as well. Chris said Stroud or May. Stroud has been so mid. Chris, you are 100% right. Stroud has been absolutely mid. I lean this week, though. I still lean Stroud. With Nico Collins coming back, with hopefully Tank Dell playing, that's going to open things up for this offense. The Detroit Lions, they added the pass rusher. Their defense has been very good. Drake May versus Chicago, I don't love this for him either. I mean, he did ball out against the Jets defense, which is very similar, comparable to what the Chicago Bears secondary is at this point. But I do lean with Stroud. But I will say that the Konami code rushing upside floor, I feel like May gets at least 30 rushing yards a game, and that's something that CJ Stroud doesn't get. So there is a little bit of an advantage to the floor of May over Stroud, but I would still lean Stroud this week, Chris, because I do have him about 5 to 6 spots higher than Drake May. Appreciate you so much for tuning in, Chris. Chandra said, my husband wants to know if he should play Evan Ingram or Taysom Hill. Give him a shout out. His name is Corbin. Shout out to Corbin. Corbin, listen, you got my wife, I want you to know this, Corbin, does not tune into any fantasy football content at all, does not play fantasy football, even though I am like super passionate about this stuff, which is fine. But Chandra, the fact that you guys both play fantasy football, like that is hashtag goals. And so Corbin, shout out to you guys for both, for playing fantasy football. But you're going with, I would go with Evan Ingram this week over Taysom Hill. Listen, I understand the worry. Evan Ingram, we got Mac Jones throwing him the ball. Taysom Hill, it's pretty much just him and Alvin Kamara as the only 2 weapons that the Saints can kind of deploy this week against the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm leaning, like I said, Evan Ingram. The tight end is the backup quarterback's best friend. I'm a little bit worried about Brian Thomas Jr. for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but personally for me, I lean Evan Ingram over Taysom Hill. Glad you have both of these options. I think tight ends, besides the top 4 this week, Travis Kelce, Kittle, Otton, and McBride, I don't feel good about any tight end. And when the start state questions come, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can make the argument. Taysom Hill is going to get 2, goal line touchdowns, and he's going to be the quarterback, and they're going to do the wildcat, and he's going to run it in. I could say that Evan Ingram is going to get 10 targets from Mac Jones. They're going to be down, and Evan Ingram, will put up a 10 reception, 60-yard day, and all of a sudden he puts up 16 fantasy points for you. So Corbin, it's a rough one, but personally I do lean Evan Ingram over Taysom Hill there. But I understand why you were in a little bit of predicament there. Appreciate you, Corbin. Appreciate you, Chandra. Mr. E said, would you do this trade? I give Jamar and JT. I get Henry and Lamb. Nope. Jamar Chase and Henry are probably equivalent, and then JT way over Lamb at this point with no Cooper Rush. You already have Lamar Jackson plus I'm a Ravens, so I'm in a pickle. I know I'm losing the value, but I would want Henry. Okay, so depends on where your team's at, Mr. E, honestly, too. I don't know what your ranking is. I don't know where you're currently situated, in the standings. I think having a Lamar Jackson Henry stack is dope. That would be absolutely freaking amazing. But I do think with you having Lamar Jackson, you having Jamar Chase, I think JT is going to put up more points than Lamb, with how the positional value works for me right now. So personally, I lean the side you're giving away, but I don't think it's an atrocious deal that if you were like, Caleb, I am such a homer and I want Derrick Henry on my team and I'm cool to deal with Lamb, then I'd take the team on the right, the deal on the right. So just kind of depends where you are at, Mr. E. I said, if Debo doesn't perform well this week, should I start to see if I could do any trades or just ride with him? Yeah, I mean, right. I think the thing is, I think CMC coming back is actually going to help Debo because at this point, it's been George Kittle, and then Debo's been just hurt. And now we really haven't got to see Debo without Brandon Ayuk fully healthy, besides one game. So I would say that we need to ride with Debo rest of the season because he's going to be getting a lot more targets. They're going to have to get him a lot more involved to move the ball. And so that really benefits for me, the Debo Samuel role. So I absolutely love Debo Samuel here. Unruly said Najee or Ramondre today. Yeah. I lean Ramondre over Najee. I got him 2 spots ahead. They're Unruly. So like the matchup versus Chicago. I'm worried, like I said, I'm worried about Drake May when we're asking quarterback start sit questions a little bit, but I'm not worried about Ramondre. I'm a little bit more worried about Najee, but I would lean Ramondre Stevenson there. Chris said, if Tyreek doesn't play, I'm going to have to start D-Hop, but I feel like that may be even better if Tyreek does play. If we're looking at my wide receiver rankings this week, we have, I would go, I still lean Tyreek Hill over DeAndre Hopkins, but DeAndre Hopkins, like we said last week, he's getting the Patrick Surtain treatment this week, and so that's a little bit of my worry there, Chris. And when I've told people to start wide receivers against Patrick Surtain, they always suck. So I'm leaning Tyreek if he's going to play, but there's a chance that he doesn't play. So if you want to mitigate that risk there, Chris, then I would just play DeAndre Hopkins and just be like, I'll wait for Tyreek Hill to come back. Unruly said, hold out and wait on Nico or start Downs or BTJ. So I have Downs would be the start there, Unruly. I have Downs right now as my wide receiver 14 this week. Nico, if he slides in, will be my wide receiver 9. So, like we said, I don't know if we have any news on Nico at all. Let me see. I'm looking out here on the waiver wire. Let's see. A lot of people are just making jokes saying they're activating him, but I haven't seen any news. I mean, the line has moved. I know he's questionable. I probably just wait on Nico. They're unruly if I'm you. Just because that's what I would do. I want my studs in my lineup, and but if it depends on how risk averse you have, and I would hate to tell you to do it, and then all of a sudden he's not playing, and then you're like, Caleb. But like everything I see, like it's looking like he's gonna end up playing this week. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts there, Unruly. So good luck. Like I said, these injuries, the CMC injury, the Nico Collins injury, the Tyreek Hill injury this week has kind of made me evaluate a lot on these players. And like we said, it comes down to risk. Like I feel like a few years ago, like there was like some Keenan out. Like I always get it wrong on these injuries because sometimes it's hard to tell. Like right now in the moment, like we said, like we're a day before Tyreek Hill plays. We're literally 9 hours away from Nico Collins playing, and like the news will just become more clear as the day goes on. But we can't wait. We have like an hour to make these decisions. So, yeah. I'm fine there. I would play Nico and just go with the Unruly drip if I were you. Like I said, guys, appreciate you, Chris. Appreciate everyone so much for tuning into the stream. We're going to get back to watching some football here today. So like I said, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Thanks so much. Enjoy your Sunday. If you have any more start state questions, throw them into a video comment and I will get them for you. Like I said, guys, appreciate you guys. More content coming tonight after the games with the waiver wires. We'll be putting out more content streaming this next week. So I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.